In Patna, police fired water cannons to disperse a crowd of angry Gen Z protesters. The students turned the high-pressure blast into a rain dance. The catalyst is a medical entrance exam known as NEET. Year after year, exam papers are leaked, invalidating the results for millions. For families who liquidated their life savings to buy a seat on the train to prosperity, a rigged test is a devastating financial blow. Thousands of students took over the streets of Delhi and Bengaluru, absorbed police lathi charges, and demanded accountability from the National Examination Agency. Officials responded from a height of sheer arrogance, throwing out a careless insult that labeled the youth a Cockroach Janta Party. The students immediately adopted the identity, leveraging an old truth: the creature survives everything designed to exterminate it. This regime owes its existence to the very student politics it now polices. Nearly a dozen sitting ministers began their careers organizing through student unions, using the same protest tactics that they now deploy tear gas against. The Prime Minister's political formation runs through the 1974 youth agitation, a movement that asked Jaya Prakash Narayan to lead a nationwide push against the status quo. Confronting its own political biopic, the administration chose to raise batons against the exact demographic trying to carry that baton forward. Doctors use radioactive tracers to find hidden malignancies. In a democracy, students perform that exact same diagnostic function. Like an isotope lighting up a diseased area on a scan, student movements illuminate the deep structural rot hidden within a political system. They are uniquely effective at this because they carry zero political baggage. They have no stake in the settled order of things and no incentive to lie to protect the condition of the state. The NEET protests highlight a crisis of systemic credibility that reaches far beyond the mechanics of a single exam. They have exposed an erosion of the basic contract between society and the state. This chart shows the specific paradox the youth are diagnosing: an enormous peak of chronic youth unemployment existing right alongside thousands of state jobs that remain unfilled. When an examination system fails to accurately certify merit, it acts as a leading indicator. The leaked paper today accurately predicts a future of economic immobility. The young people at Jantar Mantar understand that a nation's aspirations cannot flourish when truth resides in a complicity of silence. They are refusing the terms of that settlement. The standard operating system for power is often to ignore the complaints, insult the participants, injure them with police muscle, and spin a controlled narrative. But that playbook stalls against the sheer mathematics of India's demographics. The cohort of 15 to 29-year-olds totals roughly 371 million people. To put that in perspective, this single youth cohort is substantially larger than the entire population of the United States. This creates an impossible dilemma for any regime. A government engaged in an argument with a quarter of its own population cannot win by brute force. The pattern of students acting as a check on state power spans the globe. In 1968, student strikes filled the streets of Paris, severely weakening the administration and hastening the exit of President Charles de Gaulle. In Prague, students led the Velvet Revolution, breaking the grip of authoritarian control. In Indonesia, student defiance helped topple Suharto's deeply entrenched regime. More recently, youth-driven uprisings in Dhaka forced an immediate change in government. And in Colombo, student-led protests stormed government buildings to upend the political establishment. These examples show that students exert significant influence over the direction of a country without ever winning a formal election. In India, the relentless pressure of Gen Z consensus eventually forced the state to retreat from its initial stance and address the students' demands. When a generation files its petition on the street, the government reaches a fork: accommodate them or risk losing their consent entirely.